Renee D. Waring, and I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. Sorry that we are not able to air the talk on mass shootings. Our ministry has decided to table that discussion until a later date because of the possible backlash by the powers that be. The new series entitled How to Overcome Shame. The definition of shame is shame informs us of an internal state of inadequacy, dishonor, regret, worthlessness, or disconnection. Shame signals that our positive feelings have been interrupted. The question is shame an emotion or a feeling? Before I can answer that question, I must define what emotions and feelings are. An emotion is a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. Next, I will define what an instinctive state of mind is. An instinctive state of mind is different from reasoning or knowledge. The definition of feeling is a reaction to an environmental state such as love, affection, or fondness. I repeat, is shame an emotion or a feeling? The answer is shame is an emotion. Carl Jung stated, shame is a soul-eating emotion. Before we can grasp the full meaning of this quote, we must define what a soul is. Soul is a spiritual or immaterial part of a human being which is regarded as immortal. Shame is often birthed in one's childhood. It is inflicted on an individual through repeated traumatic experience, often and not always. It is not always rooted in one's childhood, however. If you were a little boy shamed for crying or being overly sensitive when you feel deeply embarrassed or humiliated when you cry as an adult, as we age, we develop unhealthy coping mechanisms to muffle the feeling of shame. These coping mechanisms impact our close relationships. Some coping mechanisms are anger, withdrawal, blame, contempt, control, perfectionism, or people pleasing. These coping mechanisms can only temporarily alleviate the pain we are feeling, inadequate or unlovable. In order to recover from our shame, we must rebuild our self-esteem, which takes time and patience. Which takes time and patience, but it can be done. I repeat, in order to recover from our shame, we must rebuild our self-esteem, which takes time and patience, but it can be done. Step 1, revisit our childhood and have the realistic understanding as an adult that childhood shame is not our fault. The shame roots from our family of origin. One or both of our parents was bound in shame and passed on the painful legacy to us through their feelings about themselves and how they treated us as children. Children are vulnerable to shame because we develop our identity based on our parents' reaction to us. They could have been neglectful, abusive, or controlling. How we were treated by our parents becomes the way we internally treat ourselves. We must remind ourselves that we are not at fault whenever we feel our shame triggered. We must find the original source of our shame, describe or journal about it from an adult perspective. The resource used in this first talk of the series entitled How to Overcome Shame is cited in the resource listing attached to this video. Please review the next video in this series, which will be aired on Thursday, September the 13th. Please invite others to view it also. Thank you. I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. My name is Renee D. Waring, and I am the Warrior Warring.